So, welcome everyone, and today I'd like to talk about the beautiful prayer of Lord Chaitanya, Shikshashtak. Shiksha means instruction, Ashta means eight verses that he gave us. He could have given us 8 billion million verses, but 8 verses is enough to give us all instruction and all encouragement on the path of bhakti. So I'd just like to read a translation of the first verse by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. The holy name of Krishna cleanses the mirror of the heart and extinguishes the fire of misery in the forest of birth and death. As the evening lotus blooms in the moon's cooling rays, the heart begins to blossom in the nectar of the name. And at last the soul awakens to its real inner treasure, a life of love with Krishna. Again and again, tasting nectar, the soul dives and surfaces in the ever-increasing ocean of ecstatic joy. All phases of the self, of which we may conceive, are fully satisfied and purified, and at last conquered by the all-auspicious influence of the holy name of Krishna. So it's such a beautiful verse. It reminds me that Krishna, we hear, is very sweet and beautiful. The beauty and sweetness of Krishna, we hear that. So he is all attractive. We are attracted by that beauty, that sweetness, which is on the spiritual platform, on the soul platform. So it is not about a mental or intellectual process that we come to have contact with Krishna, to know Krishna, to love Krishna. It's a purely spiritual process as given by those who do love him, the pure devotees. They have bhakti and only we can get bhakti by their grace. So it reminds me once again of that instruction of my Gurudev, get off the mental platform and absorb yourself in the reality of Radha and Krishna. So this chanting of the holy names is the very core of our spiritual life, because in this way we can get off the mental platform. Of course, in the same prayers, Lord Chaitanya himself says that he has no taste for the holy name. He has no taste. So what to speak of the fallen conditioned souls like myself? Certainly I have no taste for chanting the holy name. They give that example of somebody who has the disease of jaundice. For such a person, if you give them sugar candy, rock candy, which is by nature very sweet, but because they are diseased, it tastes very bitter. So similarly, for someone like myself who has the disease of illusion, disease of ignorance, I have no taste for the holy name. Not because the holy name is not sweet, but because I am in the diseased condition. But just as the cure for jaundice is to take the sugar candy, the rock candy, that is the medicine, and that actually cures the disease of jaundice. And then when the patient is healed, he can taste the sweetness. So similarly, even though I do not have a taste for chanting the holy name, still we are encouraged to keep on chanting, because like rock candy, this name itself will remove the ignorance, remove the illusion, and then I will be able to taste the sweetness of the holy name. Rupa Goswami is praying to have millions of ears and tongues, because the sweetness of the holy name is so wonderful that he desires to taste it more and more. Ruchi, the taste. So this is the process. And this lovely verse describes how the holy name acts, that It cleanses the mirror of the heart and extinguishes the fire of misery in the forest of birth and death. So this is our situation in the forest of birth and death, a blazing fire, and the holy name puts out the misery. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Later on, Lord Chaitanya gives that lovely description. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, that someone who has actually become self-realized, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, he's like in an ocean of Ananda, an ocean of bliss, and that ocean is increasing. As Prabhupada says, the ocean in this world stays in where it is, it doesn't get bigger. But the ocean of bliss in the spiritual world, we hear, is ever increasing, Vardhanam. Then the verse says, as the evening lotus blooms in the moon's cooling rays. Such a nice analogy that the evening lotus, that's a particular kind of lotus, I understand, it blooms not by the sunshine, but by the moon's rays, cooling rays. Then the comparison is that the heart is compared to a lotus of which blossoms or blooms not by the moon's rays, but by the nectar of the name. And then the verse goes on to say that the soul awakens to its real inner treasure. That's a beautiful description, inner treasure. As it says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the only treasure is Krishna, love of Krishna, service to Krishna. So that treasure is inside, inner treasure, and everyone has that treasure. Every soul has that treasure. It's there, hidden. But this process of chanting under the guidance of the pure devotee reveals that treasure. And what is that treasure? A life of love with Krishna. And then the verse goes on, again and again, tasting nectar, the soul dives and surfaces in the ever-increasing ocean of ecstatic joy. So that's a beautiful description, which is way beyond my realization. But even just reading these things raises one's consciousness. They are such transcendental descriptions. They're not mundane. Although they may seem way beyond our reach that we will ever come to experience these things. But even just reading these descriptions gives one a slight taste of something way beyond our material experience and worth trying for, worth striving for, worthwhile to make the effort to try to reach this wonderful consciousness of love, Krishna Prem. And then the verse says, all phases of the self of which we may conceive are fully satisfied and purified. How about that? Fully satisfied and purified. In our material experience, we don't have any experience of full satisfaction. We have some temporary satisfaction at some time, but then we go back down into the ocean of distress, up and down, up and down. This is the material experience. But this is of a different quality. This experience here is Anandam Bodhivardhanam, ever-increasing joy. There's no question of anxiety, of suffering, of frustration. None of these things are there in these descriptions. So it is way beyond, as I say, my material comprehension. But still, something attractive is there even in my fallen, ignorant state, that I can sense that this is something pure and transcendental and attractive and blissful. So then the verse goes to say that, and at last conquered by the all-auspicious influence of the holy name of Krishna. So in the beginning, the mind puts up a big fight. We don't want Krishna. We don't want to practice Krishna consciousness. We don't want to chant We don't want to hear about these things. We want to carry on with our material plan making plans to enjoy in the material world. So it's a battle, isn't it? The mind puts up a huge fight. But who can fight against Krishna? Ajita. Ajita, he is one name. Ajita means unconquerable. No one can conquer Krishna. So if Krishna comes in some way, as Sridhar Maharaj says, if somehow or other Krishna comes into our hearts, he will conquer, he will be victorious. Just like also at the end of this Shikshastak, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Param, supreme, Vijayate, victory. Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, oh, victory to the congregational chanting of the holy names. So some or other, we have the good fortune to be in this process. We are a part of the golden age. Lord Chaitanya has come to specifically give this chanting of the holy names as the Yuga Dharma, the religion of the age, and somehow or other we are, despite living in the worst possible time, this Kali Yuga, dark age of quarrel and hypocrisy, but somehow or other we're getting the glimpse of this golden light from Lord Chaitanya, the golden light. And it is irresistible, actually. We may try, the mind will try to resist, but the unconditional love and mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Nitai is so powerful, unlimited, that it will soften the hardest heart. We have the example of Jagai and Madai. So many criminal behaviors and sinful behavior they had. But Jagai and Madai become great devotees by the mercy of Nitai and Gauranga. So everyone, all the souls in this world are in the Kali Yuga are criminals, no doubt, because of our past misdeeds. But all is forgiven. Unconditional love. As my Guruji gave a lecture, Lord Chaitanya has declared general amnesty. All the prisoners are to be set free. So we may fight the process and resist, but why not cooperate? Krishna will be victorious. Cooperate, what does that mean? It means I try to follow the orders of Gurudev. He says, get up and chant the holy names, chant your japa, your mantras, try to have some nice kirtan for Krishna's pleasure, try to read some nice bhakti books, offer nice food to Krishna, try to associate with the devotees in one way or another. To do these things is to cooperate, and of course then to do them on a regular basis. That's the next level, not just some of the time, but every day. And in this way we cooperate with Lord Chaitanya's movement. He will be victorious. He doesn't fail. So let's help one another on the path. As my Gurudev said, this Krishna consciousness is the positive alternative. It's the positive alternative to the dead end of material life. So wishing you much bhakti bliss. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam.